We are live.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alok Kumar, and I am from Global Education and Training Institute. Welcome to this wonderful session of disruptive education. Okay, so we are here a very wonderful guest named Shikha Tripathi, madam. She is the principal of JAIPURIA school, and today she is going to share very wonderful ideas. So she will elaborate her topic by herself, but I'll tell you she is a wonderful lady, and I know him personally. So, Mr. Shikha Tripathi, ma'am, please explain the topic. Now it's up to you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Alok. Once again, good evening, everyone. Thanks to Mr. Alok and the persons behind. Thank to entire team of GETI and especially Sunita Gandhi ma'am for giving me such opportunity so that I can share and express my views. But before I will start my session, I would like to add few Hindi lines. पानी में गिरने से किसी की जान नहीं जाती, जान तब जाती है जब हमें तैरना नहीं आता। इसी तरीके से परिस्थितियां कभी समस्या नहीं बनती, समस्या तब बनती है जब हमें परिस्थितियों से निपटना नहीं आता। So you need to understand that life is not what you are given. Life is what you create. Life is what you overcome. Life is what you achieve. And that makes the life beautiful. But for that beautiful life, you need to put your foot forward. Start now. Start wherever you are. Start whatever you have. Start with fear. Start with doubt. Start with pain. Start with handshaking. Start with voice trembling. But start and don't stop. Start wherever you are with whatever you have. Just start. You don't need to stop anywhere. किसी ने कहा है परिंदे रुक मत, तुझमें अभी जान बाकी है। परिंदे रुक मत, तुझमें अभी जान बाकी है। मंजिल दूर है सही पर उड़ान अभी बाकी है। As we all know, these are tough days, these are unprecedented times for which none of us had ever thought of. But education system has shown us the silent transformation and moved from uncertainty to certainty. The current COVID-19 pandemic means that schools are closed and children are at home. This pandemic may create a new normal for the children of today. That process to be lifelong changes. With the spread of COVID-19 pandemic, we have woken up to entirely a different world. We have entered to a different world. The world have been invaded by an enemy, you can say, or it's a foe who does not care, who does not have a concern for our social status, borders, power, and religion. And yes, we know that a tiny microbe has brought us in a trouble, has brought the world, its intelligence, most ingenious occupants to their knees. Now, will it be a watershed moment for the generation Z and Alpha? Why am I focusing on this generation Z and Alpha? Because this is the topic of today's session, and the generation Z and Alpha are the ones who are in our classrooms these days. So will it be a watershed moment for these children who are studying in our classrooms and are referred to as generation Z and Alpha? It's yes. It will affect their social and emotional well-being and in many other ways. So the topic which I had selected for today is the readiness of generation Alpha during pandemic. So we need to have a concern. We need to talk about this during pandemic. Why I have taken the topic during pandemic? Why not post-COVID? It's because nowadays we can see that it's very difficult for a day to come when we will say that it is post-COVID. So we need to live with this thought that we are in the pandemic. We are living with COVID-19. We are living with this corona. So we need to understand, are we going on towards the need of this generation Z and Alpha or not? So we need to prepare these children, and meanwhile we need to prepare ourselves also. So as I told you, the topic is readiness of generation Alpha during this pandemic. As an administrators, as an educators, as mentors, as teachers, it's our prime duty and responsibility to prepare these kids in our classrooms during pandemic. We are not supposed to teach in the way we were taught by our teachers, but we are supposed to teach the children the way they desired, the way they need, the way they require. So it's the need of the hour, you can say. It's the important or mandatory for all of us to plan a strategy so that we can prepare ourselves as well as these children who are generation Z and Alpha inside our classrooms. They are prepared for the coming future. If I will give you an example, I can tell you, like, suppose if I'm holding a cup of coffee, okay, and someone comes and bumps into me, what will happen? I will split my coffee. The coffee will spill everywhere. Okay. Now the question is, why does the coffee split? Because the coffee was inside the cup. Suppose if I would have a tea inside, the tea would have spilled out. If I would have a water inside, the water will have spilled out. So the question is, whatever was inside the cup, that was spilled out. So similarly, when life shakes you, when life gives you some trouble, when life gives you some problem, so it's very difficult for us to maintain our emotional and social balance in that. So it's up to us, whatever we are having inside our cup, inside us, it is with our soul, that we will expel out when it is the time of problem or a tragedy, as if it is the corona dealing with these days. So we will be giving out if we will have patience, we will have understanding, we will have, our proper planning and all. So whatever we will have in our cup, we will expel out during the times of emergency or tragedy. So it's up to us how prepared we are. So this is today's session कि are we prepared for ourselves and for the coming generation. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि कोरोना है अभी तो इससे बड़ी हो सकता है, इससे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम कल को 2 साल बाद, 4 साल बाद, 10 साल बाद. I don't know when this to become. So we need to prepare our kids especially so that they are able to fight against that situation. So this is my question. Apart from academic, we need to prepare themselves for those life skills. So uh, as if the topic is generation Z and Alpha. To be very clear with this, we will talk about in today's session about generations. Fine? Like we have 6 generations all over. Generation 1, 6 में जो सारे आते हैं, that is what the number 1 is traditionalist. It is also called as veterans, also called as builders. Now these are the ones who are having the age group of 70 plus. Okay, the builders are the one who are having the age group of 70 plus. So they are the one who are very hardworking and they trust in government. 70 plus के जो लोग हैं ये builders के group में आते हैं, and these are the one who are very hardworking and trust in government. The next is the one who is from the age of 51 to 60 and they belong to the age of baby boomers. They are the ones who are balanced and who care about health, wealth and their family. ये वाले जो उम्र के लोग होते हैं, especially from 51 to 60, अपनी family की बहुत care करते हैं. Next comes the generation X, aged from 36 to 50. These are the ones who are very balanced. They don't care. Caring होती है but कम होती है. They are very balanced, having global mindset and they are anti and busy. Next comes generation Y, who is from the age group of 21 to 35 and they are also called as millennials. Generation Y, जिसमें से हम में से आप में कई लोग होंगे जो generation Y को belong करते हैं. Okay, now these are the called as millennials and they are the one who are grown up with technology. हम लोगों ने technology को देखा है अपनी growth में. So we are the people who are grown up with technology. अब next generation है, that is generation Z. It belongs to the age group of 6 to 20 years of age. Now my matter of concern is ये जो 6 to 20 years of age है, ये वो age group है जो हमारे classroom में है. If I talk this regarding this, so what is this? These children are especially from class 1 onwards, 1 to 12. Especially maybe they have passed out from 12th and they are doing their graduation or maybe in their college days. So these are the children are known as generation Z. Okay. अब ये कैसे हैं? These are the one who are born with technology. They are not grown up with technology, but they are born with technology. They are born and brought up with the technology. Okay. So it's a matter of concern. Now, why it is a concern, I will tell you. Because before this lockdown, this generation Z was moving to school every day, was watching their friends with smiling faces, watching their teachers, having assemblies, playing footballs, having teamwork and collaboration inside the classrooms, moving to coffee shops, having physical interactions. Now, what is happening once they are stuck at their home, they are staying at their home after lockdown, they are limited to these things and they are missing all these physical interactions. So it's our duty, our administrators duty, to work on these children. Are they not having any pressurized emotional and social well-being? So this is our task to look up on this. And the next generation which comes, age from under, not from, it is age under 6. These are very small child, and this is the reason they are called as generation alpha. And the later on years it will come generation beta and gamma and all like that. So right now these kind of children are there in our schools in pre-primary section, nursery mein, lkg mein, ukg mein, we are having these kids. Can you imagine how tough these days are for these kids? Even for nursery, if I will talk, nursery kids have not seen their teacher even for a single day. They have not seen their school. They have not met their batchmates. They don't know how fun we have inside the classroom, how teacher is reciting a rhyme, how teacher is telling a story, how teacher is, undergoing with all ABCDs and one twos and having fun for all those 4 hours. These children, they don't know. They have just got admission in the school, and after than that they are staying at home and following all the norms and rules of those lockdown. So it's very tough for this generation alpha, because this generation alpha, if we call these as children of millennials, as if of generation X and Y, so these are the children of millennials. Millennial means generation Y, and these are the most racially diverse ones across the world. These are the most technology supplied and globally wealthiest generation. As per the report, as per the survey, it has been found out that generation alpha will be the wealthiest generation ever. But the point of concern is they will be, we will see a little drop of moral values down in them. We will see a little drop of etiquettes down in them. This is the reason we say now this is generation gap. We were this like that and we were studying like that. Why these kids are not understanding? So these are the things. So this is all about for all the generation. To make it more clear about all these things, let me tell you about, okay, uh, now for each other these generations more clear, we will tell you that the veterans group, these are extensively experienced, these are loyal to the company, and they appreciate sacrifice. Baby boomers, they are greatly dedicated to their work, ability to forge a career or to create a career, and they are very much committed to their job. Generation X is open minded regarding diversity. They are world citizens. Generation X are competitive in behavior, they are competitive in nature. But as we compare it to the Generation Y are of culture of interactivity. They are keen on labor mobility. They are highly aware and vocal about social issues. As we say about Generation X, again to focus on this, is critical and selective. Generation Z is digital natives, and these are the children who are self-taught online, since these are digitally born. They are born digitally. So we can say like that. Now, why am I concerned for Generation Z and Alpha? It's because time will tell. There are likely to be enduring effects of this pandemic. Depending upon the actual duration of this entire isolation from other people, there are habits and life patterns that are apt to develop and may persist with the members of Generation Alpha for decades to come. So it will be whatever behavior or the life patterns these Generation Alpha and Z will show, it is going to come and will be have an impact for the years to come. It's not only about this pandemic days we are talking about. It's about for so many years that they will show us an effect of that. Okay. So to make it more clear about this Generation Alpha, uh, will I be telling you a small scene like that? If a child is coming back from school and a parent is asking, Beta, how was the school today? The child is going to answer, you can read all about in my book, that. So this is what the child will answer, because the child is born digitally. The child is born and brought up in a digital world. Child is not, in this case, the child will speak less and will be shifting towards technology more. In second case, if we talk about, that is called as generation gap. Father used to walk 20 minutes to save 20 rupees, but son spends 20 rupees to save 20 minutes. What is the difference in that? This is called generation gap. So father was working physically so that he can save money, because for father money is more important. For son, after generation gap, if you're talking about generation alpha, but for son, rather than money, means inspire, not because money, it's because time is more important for the child. So time is spending, so child is spending that money so that time is saved. This is what the difference between child and the father in this. You can say this is called generation gap. Okay. Next, very good example I can tell you. For example, if we see baby boomers, generation X ke pehle wala, baby boomers and generation X, they both generation were taking past with their way. They were considering past. They were only past focused. They were not focused with future, neither with the present. But generation millennial, they are focused with only present. They are not focused with either past or future. They are focused in present, present focused. But generation Z and alpha, these are the children who are future focused. They are only concerned for the future. They don't think that past and present is important, but if I want to do this, if I want to become this, my career, my target, my goal, that is more important. My future is important. Nothing other thing is important in comparison to that. So this is all about the generation gap. But now what is more important for us is, if we are having teachers in our schools that belongs to millennial group. Okay. um, Millennials, or you can say it can be few of them from generation Y also. But the children we are having in our classrooms are from generation Z and alpha and pre-primary sections. So are we having strategies to plan? Are we, capable enough to deal with those children who are a generation ahead from us, who are more technology smart? We need to plan that. So let me tell you a comparative report of this generation millennial and generation Z. Millennials are tech savvy. Okay. That means they can handle two screens at a time. But generation Z are tech innate. They can handle five screens at a time. Millennials, or these millennials generation, can communicate with text while they are working on phone or laptop or computer. So they can communicate. They love to communicate with text. But as comparison, in opposite of this, generation Z will love to communicate with images, with emojis, with pictures. Still, we can see that they are saving their time. Okay, this generation millennial is curators and sharers. Generation Z are creators and collaborators. They love to work in team but independently, since they are born digitally. And these millennials are now focused. They want to live in present. They are not concerned for past and future. But generation Z and alpha are future focused. They want to live in the future only. They want to have a look or want to decide what will happen in the future. They are concerned for that. Okay, millennials are optimistic and generation Z are realistic. Millennials want to be discovered. Millennials want to be recognized. But generation Z want to work for success. They don't want recognition. They don't want to be discovered, but they want their target to be fulfilled. They want their goal to be fulfilled. So that is their target. So this is what, if we are considering about what type of teachers we are having inside our classrooms, so we need to plan our strategies according to the children we have in our classrooms. Okay. So the question arises, Are we prepared to reach generation alpha and their parents? Are we prepared for that? The need of the hour is rethink how we educate, what we need to teach, and what we are preparing our students for. Nowadays, for these children of generation Z and alpha, communication or information or knowledge is just a mouse click away. So we need to play our role. We need to see that how smart the teachers are, how smart the administrators are, so that they are dealing with digitally smart children. So it's the need of our to assess ourselves and to assess these strategies and plans so that we are working according to the expectation level of these children. Okay. Um, Now, I will tell you how we are having children in our classrooms. In our classrooms, majority we are having Generation Z, starting from class 1 onwards. Generation Z means these are the one who are in the globalized world. These are the one who are in the technology with two terms more important, FOBA and FOMO. FOBA is what? Fear of being alone. And FOMO is what? Fear of missing out. So fear of being alone and fear of missing out, why this is working for this generation Z? It's because before lockdown they were with the children, they were with their friends and coming to school daily. But nowadays, because of this restriction, because of this lockdown, they are stuck to their home and living there. But it's a matter of concern that FOBA, that is fear of being alone and fear of missing out, is not the part of their life when they are in the lockdown. See, teachers, while we are taking online classes, we are only concerned for that screen, that the child is coming to a screen, putting up the attendance, doing classwork and getting homework and submitting it to us. So we should not be concerned for that only. We need to look beyond the screen also. What is happening inside the house? Is the father and mother okay in the house? They are in the lockdown. Are they getting salary? Is the job okay with them? Is the child is not any such social or mental pressure inside the house? So that is a matter of concern for us to rethink about. So this is the time we need to rethink about the education and reshape the education for the coming years to come. Okay, now Generation Z is having some few characteristics I will be telling you. Generation Z is used to social media, as we all know. Social media like Facebook, like Twitter, Insta. So these are used to social media since they are born digitally, as I told you. These are highly connected people. Why? It's okay. It's yes that they are staying at home, but then also they are highly connected with their teachers, with their friends, through WhatsApp call, through video call, through through messages, chatting. All these things are there, so they are highly connected. They are tech savvy and they are tech innate people also. They prefer to use visual rooms. If we as a teacher will give an offer to them, so apart from audio, they prefer to have that video classrooms. But a major concern is what? Mostly the teachers used to complain the children are not having attention. They are not paying attention. So it's because they are having low attention time. The reason is because of they are spending more time on screen, and this is the reason they are having very short span of attention towards studies. They want to be entertained. They are fast acquisition of knowledge, and the very important point is they demand fast response. They demand fast feedback from us. Since they are not having time, they don't, for them the time is more important, and this is the reason they demand fast response and fast feedback. Okay, now the question is about the adverse effects of lockdown. We all are in this lockdown and we are staying. Now the lockdown is over. So some of us are moving outside and getting back to our work. But for adverse effects of lockdown, before this lockdown, there was freedom. The children can meet with their friends, they can move to coffee shops, they can spend time outside. But after the lockdown has limited all these things and physical meetings has been restricted, now what happens? The get-togethers are missing, and because of this, the children are facing boredom and frustration inside the house. They are now, it's really a matter of concern since they are staying with their families. Before the lockdown, they were coming to school and spending few hours with the school. But now for the 24 hours, they are with their family. So they can have a look of whatever the social and physical conditions of the house also. So maybe that can create a social and mental pressure on them. So because they are bored and frustrated, it is creating a condition that they are switching in the mindset and thinking that they are switched from living to survival. They are thinking that now we are not living, we are surviving. And from this mindset, what are the characteristics has been developed? That is sadness, anxiety, fear, anger, confusion, and uncertainty. All these things are developed in their minds, and because of all these things, they are enforced to be isolated to their houses and is creating an existential crisis that they are existing. हम exist कर रहे हैं, हम जी नहीं रहे हैं. So we need to break this mindset. We need to break this, thinking of them. We need to fill those voids, fill those gaps. We need to rethink that are my children are not thinking all these things. So it will be a worse condition if it is not controlled. So what am I telling you about the adverse effects of this lockdown? If we as an administrator will not control all these things, then it can be a very serious issue, or it can be a worse condition for our children for the coming future. If we are talking about children, that means we are talking about future. So it's a matter of concern for us also. Now, for Generation Alpha, I will talk about. Generation Alpha is most racially diverse generation. For them, the technology is simply an extension of their own consciousness and identity. These are the non-traditional family structure. Why I'm talking about this? Because the Generation Alpha belongs to non-traditional family structure. Who doesn't lives in joint families? They are living in nuclear families. Maybe some of them are living with single parent, maybe with mother or father. So can you imagine the mindset of these children? It's because this generation Alpha is having a group of parents. That parent is known as bulldozer parents. Now, what is meant by this bulldozer parents? Bulldozer parents means the parent who is, very much concerned for the child and is removing obstacles or barriers and making the pathway of child clear, so that my child is not having any kind of problem. When we remember in our days, when we used to say कि आज तो मुझे मैम ने मारा, आज मुझे इतनी डांट पड़ी, then our parents used to say it was your fault, जरूर तुम्हारी गलती रही होगी. Nowadays the time has shifted. Nowadays when we are, the parents used to come to school, how you have said this to my child? This means the parents are very much concerned, and the child who is living in nuclear family is living with either maybe with a single parent, is socially connected with that parent, is emotionally connected with that parent. But in our times, it was a different scenario. Nowadays, it's a different scenario. So Generation Alpha is having the parents; those are called as bulldozer parents, who are taking care for their children and creating the path which is free from any kind of barrier or obstacles. Okay. Now, I will tell you, as per the report of Dell Technologies, according to Dell Technologies, 85%, now listen this carefully, 85% of jobs in 2030 that Generation Z and Alpha will enter into have not been invented yet. Now the question arises, are we doing a satisfactory job? Are we preparing our children, that child who is ready to take up a challenge in 2030 of that job which is not invented yet? We don't know which job will be there in 2030, and we are preparing our children. So the most important point is what? To prepare the skill, to carve out the skill, to invent that skill in that child. As per Economic Forum report, 65% of pre-primary children will be working in job types that do not exist now. That means the children who are there in our classrooms in nursery, in LKG and UKG. In these sections, these children are there, but are we preparing these children for the jobs which are now not existing? They don't know. which job they are going to opt in the coming future. So that question is more important. As I will tell you about Google and Facebook, Google is, having employees. Uh, about 60% of the employees are the one who are skilled. They are not having degrees. And Facebook is having 40% of the employees. They do not have degrees, but they are skilled one. They are working. They are doing their job. So this is more important if we are, working on skills of the child. We are working on the uh, the part that is important, the part of the child which by which the child is going to get a job in the coming future. So the question arises, how ready we are with our teaching methods? Do generation Y teachers are ready to meet the needs of generation Alpha? Will it be a lost generation? No. We administrators and teachers will not let it be a lost generation. We can explore mindset change and embrace the world that our learners inhabit. We must just attend to their communication preference. We need to go to that standard which is for the children, and we must attend to that communication preference. In these times of social distancing, now this point is very important. In these times of social distancing, we need to see that we are not giving space to emotional distancing. This is important. We need to see that we are not preparing that child who is emotionally weak, who is socially weak. We are preparing a child having high IQ level, but we are not preparing a child of emotionally and socially strong. That should not be done. We need to look after this, that we are filling those voids or gaps who are building up social distancing. So see that, teachers, that this is not done. Social distancing should not be done. Okay. Now we will see that how to prepare our young learners. So we will see this with 3 steps. Number one is how to prepare these learners. Number one is redefining the role of educator. So we will see comparatively what we were doing in traditional system and what we need to do in flipped focus. In traditional teaching, in class, teachers review homework and present new content. They were reviewing homework and presenting new content. In comparison to this, in the flipped focus technology, out of the class, students learn new content through video and technology. Okay. Out of the class, students do homework to practice new learning, and in class, students discuss and explore applications. Nowadays, Generation Z and Alpha loves to have collaboration work, loves to have that teamwork. They love to explore something and they love to discuss and love for that teamwork, which they are missing out these days. Now, the instruction in the traditional teaching was 35% student centered and 65% teacher centered. But in flipped focus, now this is the demand of today, the shifting of technology. In flipped focus, the student centered instruction is 80% and teacher centered instruction is 20%. So, what is more important for us today? To move to technology, to shift to technology, and to work and plan according to the need of children who want flipped, focused technology. That is more important for us, that we are, working according to the needs of the child. Now, the second point is teaching life skills needed for the future. Okay, if you will ask my opinion, according to me, whatever I have told you till now, if we are, considering subjects, apart from subjects, the more important part is what? Life skills, etiquettes, moral values. As I have told you earlier, that generation Alpha is going to be the wealthiest generation ever. But the moral values will come down if we will not work on them. So don't let this happen. Work on the etiquettes, values, and the moral values and life skills for these children. So life skills are more important. Suppose if we are working on the subjects on physics, chemistry, and biology and mathematics, that is only the source of income for them. That is not going to give them knowledge. If we talk about I am very good and knowledgeable person of biology, I am not. That is not a knowledge. That will only give me a source of income in the coming years. Knowledge is what? When we are learning life skills. Knowledge is what? When we are learning how to deal with particular situation or a problem coming to us in future. Knowledge is what? When my child is going and living alone in the hostel and he is dealing with that bullying and ragging and dealing with those kinds of friends, and then also maintaining that proper mindset. That is life skills. That is knowledge. If so, the need of the hour is to give that knowledge to our kids. That is more important. In spite of giving the subject knowledge, we are supposed to give our children the knowledge of life skills. हम अपने टाइम में पढ़ते थे नैतिक शिक्षा, जिसको हम मॉरल साइंस कहते हैं. So moral science has to be inculcated into the system of today. That is more important. If we are giving 7 periods to the subjects, let it be a subject of moral science once in a day or once in a week. That is more important. If a child is, good in values and good in moral science, a child is good in every part of the life. He will be skilled and he will be working anywhere. So for life skills, if I'm talking about, we need to provide confidence, cooperation, goal setting, self-worth, respect, independence, sportsmanship, flexibility, leadership, positive relation, courage, decision making, persistence. All these things are important if we are considering life skills. So according to me, life skills is more important rather than imparting the subjective knowledge. Okay, now after this, the third point which is important is unlocking technology to deliver education. As we can see, 21st century mobile social learning is very important. And if I say that technology is important and teacher is not important, that is wrong. Technology has been made by the man, and teacher is the one whom place cannot be taken by anyone. So technology cannot replace a teacher. A teacher has to be there at back end. Nowadays we are taking online classes. Yes, we are using technology, but there also the teacher is there at the back end and is helping out the child for the classes that is going on online. The teacher is there who is telling about flipped teaching, explaining everything up, and is explaining about video content and skills. Teacher is instructing the children who are working in teamwork but independently and is working on the projects, research, sharing, forums and blogs. Okay, the children are taking help from the experts, from the Google, from Facebook, from different, mediums, and they are using the critical thinking. They are using their big brain, but they are having a support of their teacher. That is important. None of the technology can replace a teacher. A teacher is the one who has developed, friendship with the technology. They have shifted from the fear of technology to the friends of technology. Nowadays, whatever is happening, it's because of a teacher in the field of education, if I'm talking about. And whatever the teacher is doing was not possible before March. Okay, so this has been done by the teacher itself. So it's the teacher who is working around the globe and working for the benefit of the children in the field of education. Okay, now the next question arises: what is the plan of action? What matters now? What we need to focus on, skills or content? So the answer is we need to focus on skills. We need to focus on content, that is right, but we should not forget skills. Okay, the three words are important: what, how, why. Students should learn how to think, not what to think. That is important. Students should learn how to think, not what to think. Provide learning with flexibility and with greater purpose. Plan for collaboration and cultivate soft skills. That is important. If nowadays we will just take an example of a classroom, children, 50% of the students primarily learn through doing. They learn through doing, and this is known as kinesthetic learning. 40% of students, they learn through watching. This is known as visual learning. 80% of the children, they learn through interacting, through lecturing, and 10% of the children, they learn through hearing. That is called oral learning. Okay, now I have told you about the different set of percentage. 100% of students learn through when they encounter information in multiple forms, like hearing, like visual, like listening, like group work. So we as a teacher, we need to focus on all these areas so that the child is learning, 100% learning is happening. There is no gap of learning. There is learning of 100%. That is our task, that we are looking after this or not. Now, the very important point is what? Is when we are considering these days of corona is, okay, I will tell you a model. That is what? Kubler-Ross model. According to Kubler-Ross model, there are 5 stages. Okay, the fear of people when our country's corona count was 100 is not when we have crossed 3 lakhs. Can you remember that? So we were more, worried, and we were in depression, and we were very much in fear. What will happen? Kaise hoga? Corona aa gaya, like this and that. So the fear of people when our country's corona count was 100 is not when it is over 3 lakhs today. The answer lies in psychological view of life. That is, when a human goes through any tragedy, incident, accident, or disaster, they pass through 5 stages. Number one is denial. Denial is what? Avoidance, confusion, elation, shock, and fear. When a person is refusing to believe that such a thing can happen to us. जब कोरोना आया था तो डेनियल वाली स्टेज सबसे पहले थी. क्या थी वो? डेनियल वाली स्टेज सबसे पहले क्या थी? कि it was when we were refusing that this cannot happen to us. Okay. So this was the denial stage. Next stage was anger. Getting angry over loss of income or loss of normal life. डेनियल से जब हम बाहर निकले तो हम एंगर वाले स्टेज पे आ गए. वी वर गेटिंग एंगर्ड. अरे ऐसा क्यों किया, लॉकडाउन क्यों लगाया, सरकार को ऐसा नहीं करना था, दिस एंड दैट. So we were in the stage of anger. After anger, we enter to the stage of bargain. Bargain is what? There should not have been lockdown. Lockdown नहीं होना था, कोरोना नहीं आया होता तो. So when we are putting questions like this, like bargaining, overwhelmed, helplessness, hostility, and flight, so it's the stage of bargaining. Next stage comes depression. When struggling to find meaning, reaching out to others, and turning one's story. When we are in the depression, it goes into the mental pressure and cause depression. And after this, the stage comes when it is the other way around, to accept it, get used to it. We live with corona, and we are accepting the fact that the options we have explored, and now we are not having any other way. We need to move outside, but safely and with new plans, and we need to move a step ahead for our life to continue. Okay, now there are 2 options. There are 2 types of persons. For wise persons, there are 2 options. Wise persons either will go directly to acceptance or will pass through all stages. Other than that, the sufferers who do not reach uh, to acceptance level and remain stuck in the previous level. So this was about the 5 stages. जो sufferers होते हैं, they are stucking to their depression period only, depression time only, stage only, and they are not reaching to the acceptance level. And the wise persons, either they are reaching directly to the acceptance level, or they are moving one by one to all stages and then moving to acceptance level. So this is what the wise persons are doing, and then they are, coming out of that stage and coming out of that situation and then living their life. So this is needed to be inculcated. ये अपने आप नहीं होता है. We need to inculcate that in our children so that in the coming times they are also not suffering from any such kind of situation. And suppose if they are facing, देखिए हम बरसात नहीं बंद कर सकते, हम बारिश नहीं बंद कर सकते, लेकिन हम अम्ब्रेला ले सकते हैं, हम छाता ले सकते हैं, हम उस बरसात से बच सकते हैं. So we need to plan ourselves so that we are having those sort of umbrellas to save ourselves in the coming future. Okay. Now the thing which is very important, as I was telling you, to prepare these kits. How to prepare these kits? These kits can be prepared through a set of intelligence. Okay. As per the psychologist, there are 4 types of intelligences. The number 1 is IQ, number 2 is EQ, and number 3rd is SQ. 4th is also left. Okay. IQ is intelligent quotient. That is measure of your comprehension ability. EQ is measure of your ability to maintain peace for others, being humble, being honest, and being respectful. SQ is the measure of your ability to build a network of friends and maintain it over a long period of time. People with high EQ and SQ tend to go further as compared to high IQ but low EQ and SQ. Point to be noted is what? People with high EQ and SQ move greater in the terms of success as compared to the people who are having high IQ but low EQ and SQ. Now what? Most schools capitalize in improving IQ level but not improving EQ and SQ, and that is played down. EQ and SQ make to manage one another in a better way. Now, teachers, please don't teach children to have high IQ only, but teach them to have high EQ and SQ also. Now, which is the fourth one which is missing? I have told you about EQ, IQ, and SQ. The fourth one, which is very important, is the shift in paradigm, is adversity quotient. In these days, many successful people are suffering a lot with depression. That means in them the adversity quotient is missing. A few days back, we have heard a news about, a case of actor has lost his life. Reason is whatever, but he lost his life. Maybe the adversity quotient was missing in him. Maybe the measure of what is adversity quotient? The adversity quotient is the measure of your ability to go through rough patch in life and came out without losing your mind. So you need to learn, you need to see that how you are managing your life when it is rough. Life is not smooth every time. Life is not the bed of roses. It is also full of thorns. So we need to learn that when the rough patch is coming, when the thorns are coming, how we need to manage that. So that is adversity quotient is being added in the intelligence quotient in this the types of intelligence. Because of this incident, it has been added. Now it's the prime duty of our educators and administrators to teach these children about adversity quotient also. So it's my request to parents and teachers to develop in your children EQ, SQ, and AQ, so that we are not creating next any such mishappening to be happen. The one who is a great scholar, who is having high IQ but having very low AQ. He was fully prepared to fight with outside demons, but not with inside demons, but not with inside soul. He didn't listen to his inside soul. He was unable to fight to win from inside. He was unable to share his feelings. He was unable to talk to his soul. He didn't remember what his mother and parents and father and teachers have appreciated and said to him, but was lost the race between competitors, although he was an Olympiad winner and engineering student also. But then also he has lost the race. It's why. It's why because he was not having that adversity quotient. So as a teacher, as a mentor, we need to train our children about this adversity quotient. We need to fill those gaps. We need to fill those voids also. Okay. So it's important for the teachers and for the parents as well to look after this, how to fill those voids and gaps in the children, which is making these disasters or these incidents to happen in the coming future. My request to all the parents is, do not prepare the road for the children, else prepare the children for the road. Be happy, even if the only thing which makes you happy is your morning tea. Live for that morning tea, live for that morning tea intake, make it marvelous, be excited about that, be passionate about that, buy mugs, decorate your kitchen, and in fact, it is possible, if it is possible, learn how to make tea, open that tea business, let that small happiness to grow, whatever it is. Suppose if it is tea, let that happiness to grow. And whatever it is, let it to become your passion. It's what will keep you alive always. The world has showed you a path. The world has slowed down so that you can rediscover yourself, grow through what you are going through. Life is 10% what happens to you, and 90% how you react to it. Remember this. Thank you.
Very well said, ma'am. Uh, Thank you for sharing these wonderful ideas, and I would like to, continue with this. There was this poem by Mr. Atal Bihari Bajpayee, like टूटे हुए सपनों की सुने कौन सिसकी, अंतर की व्यथा आंखों पर झिटकी, रार नहीं ठानूंगा हार नहीं मानूंगा, काल के कपाल पर लिखता मिटाता हूँ, गीत नया गाता हूँ, गीत नया गाता हूँ. Thank you for
Very well said.
watching this. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for watching this
Okay.
disruptive education movement, and please keep watching. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing these wonderful ideas. I am very blessed with sharing screen with you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.